Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on Ardmore Connect. This is actually our first in-person video shoot, so thank you for joining us. As always, my name is Josh Pagan, joined by my co-host Brian and Miguel of Viva
Hello.
Video, the last video store. Welcome.
Welcome. So, Miguel, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is you do here at the Last Picture Store?
Sure. So I am the owner of Viva Video, the Last Picture Store, a movie rental place, kind of like old school video store, like a Blockbuster type thing, except much more like a much wider selection than one would see at an old Blockbuster. We sort of sprang forth from the ashes of TLA Video, if people are from the Philly area, which was a long-running independent video store that I managed one of the last of their stores. And when they closed, I bought as much as I could of the inventory and moved us from Bryn Mawr to lovely Ardmore. And so we rent and sell movies and talk about movies and try to foster a good, film arts community.
What was your reason to come to Ardmore then? Why didn't you just stay at the location you were for Bryn Mawr?
Well, super expensive, and Bryn Mawr was the first part, so I had to look around to see where it made sense in the area, and I liked the atmosphere in Ardmore a lot. It's a little bit more low key, but there's a lot of cool stuff. I feel like when we came here the same year as Tired Hands opened,
Okay.
So I feel like it was very different in feel, and I feel like it seems like more things have opened since then, and sort of feels like a more happening place or whatever, I guess, in some ways. But I don't know. I liked how it's part of the main line, but a more scrappy part of the main line or something. Like it sort of fits my vibe more, I feel like. So I guess that would be why. I like Bryn Mawr plenty, but it was too expensive to stay there, and I don't think I could get quite like the space that I needed.
And I think Ardmore's got like this nice sense of community. I mean, after we've done this for how long now, we can just kind of tell. Like you can walk down the street and everyone's like so friendly and around. And
yeah.
You just know each other, and I think that you fit in there just because of how unique it is.
I feel like that seems about right. I definitely it definitely feels like a much more like walkable, nice town than other areas near here. So.
Would you feel that most of your customers that you have are mostly local Ardmoreites, or do you have people that come from afar?
We get people. I mean, because they're like, I think the closest video store I can think of is in Baltimore. So we don't have people coming from Baltimore, obviously, but and we get people from like Westchester and from Philadelphia. I'd say by and large, people that are closer come more often because you gotta come to rent something and then come to return something. But I'd say we get. I wouldn't say that we only get people from Ardmore. I'd say like we definitely get a wide array of folks. A lot of people from Ardmore, but a lot of people from Bryn Mawr where we were before. Mm-hmm. A lot of folks from like the Havertown area too. A lot of Philly folks. But yeah, I mean basically anybody in the nearish area that's interested in movies, tends to find out about it.
Do you see a lot of people coming back? I mean, it's just such an interesting concept. Like,
yeah, I feel like people that come in tend to like us. So we do get a lot of return customers. We do like monthly plans also.
Okay.
So I'd say like maybe like half our customer base probably does that. Where it's sort of like you don't pay by the movie, you just pay like a flat rate, and then you can come exchange as often as you'd like.
Sure. And then do you see a lot of people that will come in here and be like, oh, I'm looking for this, or is it a lot of like recommendations that you're asking people about?
I'd say more often people know what they want or browse around, but I mean giving recommendations is an everyday common occurrence, and we something that we love doing. Absolutely, it's like what makes it the most fun,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean I'd say like. It's definitely. I'd say more folks have an idea what they want, and then we are happy to.
Sure.
What I'd say happens more often is we get familiar with people's tastes, and as they're getting something, we can tell them like, oh, you may not have realized that this is out, or like there's this movie that I love that I think would be really up your alley. So,
interesting.
And then people will on occasion venture down those paths.
So I guess you would say most of your clientele know what they're looking for. Because one of my questions I was going to ask you is that with obviously with technology being the way it is today, and you can go to Amazon nowadays or Netflix, which kind of changed the world. How is it, apart from the nostalgic of coming into a video store and looking, like how do you think that's mostly your clientele is? Do you like the nostalgic of it? Or do you think they're just people wanting to venture out and finding movies that you can't find anywhere else?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that there's definitely like an element of nostalgia, but I'd say that's less so our customers. I'd say that's more, we get a lot of people that come in that are like, oh my god, a video store, that just want to like wander around and sort of like see that, and then don't particularly want to rent anything or whatever.
Right.
I'd say like those are the people that are really fixated on nostalgia are not actually customers. I'd say, but I'd say generally, so like the way I think of it, like, I mean, Netflix's movie selection is pretty terrible if you go on there looking for a specific movie. I'd say a video store is good for somebody that has like an active interest in what they're watching and wants to decide like, I want to watch this, I'm interested in this filmmaker, I'm interested in this movie, as opposed to like, let's just see, I want to spend an hour and a half in front of my TV, let's just see what the best option is.
That's really good. That's a really good point.
It's mainly like folks that take like a more active role in what sort of media they want to take in.
I mean, I have all those silly channels, and I can tell you how many times I'm sitting there.
Yeah, just bouncing.
Half an hour, just trying to figure out what I want.
Yeah. And that's, and I'd say like that's both, say part of it is psychology, like when you pay for an item, you're more likely to actually give it full attention or something, because just like you're in your mind, like I've paid, like our new ones are like $5. I paid $5 for this. I don't want to just watch like 20 minutes of it. You're actually going to like sort of treat it as a movie that you're going to watch. Whereas that's, sometimes when you encounter something, even if it's the same thing in a venue where you're not really paying for it, you're not as invested, and you won't really like give it the attention that it does or does not deserve.
I think I could see that in myself, because I'm not the biggest movie, goer. And when I watch something on Netflix, it's just like, oh, let me just scroll through and I'll just watch it for 10 minutes. But if I go on like Amazon Prime and I rent it, I'll sit there and watch the whole entire movie.
Yeah, and that's basically.
Now I'm curious, like someone like myself who isn't very, knowledgeable in the cinema, how would you handle like a client like me? Would you just try to point me in a direction, or?
And we generally we like to find out what somebody likes. I mean, we all have like pretty, and we're all pretty opinionated. So like we're more than, if somebody comes in and asks us what we like, what we think somebody should watch, we're more than happy to say that. But we find it much more successful and much more fun for everybody if like I would ask you like what were the last few things that you liked, and then you try to get some sense of what sort of movies you like, and then be able to recommend something in those veins. So like that's generally what I'd say. Like usually, maybe like a walk around the store, like sort of like, okay, this is like what this section is. Oh, like this movie's awesome. This movie's awesome. That sort of thing. So yeah. And I mean, we definitely like love trying to we've got like I don't know, 17,000 movies at the moment. So like it can be pretty daunting to just like look at it if you're if you don't really know what you want sometimes. But so we're more than happy to be guides through that. I mean, that's a super fun for us. I mean, all of us love imparting our tastes on the world. Like, like I'm always happy. I like a lot of foreign stuff. Like there's like a Bollywood movie I love about a man that gets turned into a fly and is hell-bent on getting revenge on the man that murdered him. And it's an amazing Bollywood movie. I adore it. And I mean, I'll push that on anybody that'll listen. And it makes me like super thrilled that like it's got, I don't know, 40 some rentals that I think are basically all people that I've shoved this movie onto. And that makes me thrilled. And, and most people really love this movie. I mean, it's a great movie.
So check it out.
Yeah, definitely. It's called Ega, EEGA. Yeah, Ega. It's the best. It's awesome. So I mean, that's definitely like the fun part for us. Right. So yeah, totally.
I mean, 17,000 movies is a lot of. I mean, how many hours would it take to watch all?
It would be impossible. I mean, it's impossible.
Long.
Yeah,
you couldn't watch every single one.
You couldn't, right?
No, definitely.
So I'm sure that you don't have a full understanding of every movie, but I'm sure you have like an elevator pitch for most.
I mean, it's like certainly an understanding of like what a movie what's generally about and what sort of
Sure.
crowd it appeals to at the very least. And I only hire people that are like really interested in
Right.
film, so they will have seen quite a
Sure.
large amount of movies, but there's no way for anybody to be completely exhaustive on
Yeah.
what is what we have.
I'm guessing the people that are working here are the ones that came in and just sat here and was like, "Can I work here?"
Everybody I think everybody that works here has been somebody that was a customer that at some point we needed somebody. I was like, hey, you want to work? Like you're
Yeah.
and it's generally like that's how when if somebody leaves or whatever, like as the staff will talk. I was like, okay, who have you seen coming in that that you think would work out?
Oh wow!
Like
That's
I'll ask
interesting.
everybody, yeah, and then we'll all sort of like mention like, oh, like this person like that comes, and it's like, oh, I don't know that person. It's like, and like, yeah, they usually come in on Saturday. So like usually if like it's the Sunday person knows, I was like, okay, then we'll look through their rental history, see if like what sort of things they're watching, just out of curiosity to see what degree of interest.
Well, I think that makes more sense. If you think about it, like a record store that was still around, the only people who work at a record store are people who actually love records.
Yeah.
It's like the nostalgic with music and with film. It's the same scenario in a sense. So you
Absolutely.
want to have someone who knows about every person or every kind of movie you have.
Yeah.
Apart from today's technology, though, what was some of the challenges you faced when you first opened up?
The toughest part is the technology. Like fighting convenience is a very tough battle, and especially in a landscape where video stores are less and less of a thing. Like I was very sad. Although I boycotted Blockbuster when I was like a teenager, even because they wouldn't carry they wouldn't carry anything above R. They forced censorship on some movies or whatever. And I just generally didn't like them as a company. I very much mourned the loss of them. Because now when somebody moves to a new town, they don't look for a video store.
Sure.
Like it's not something that they
That
think
was the
will
first
be
thing
there.
that people would do when they first moved to town.
Totally.
You had to get a membership at the if you go to a gym. You have to get a membership at the video store. You have to change your address.
When I came to the area, I went to Haverford College right near here, and the very first day I got to school, I walked down the street looking for the video store, and I walked down to the one in for the TLA that I eventually worked at down in Bryn Mawr and bought a 10 rental pass on my first day, and then.
So they already saw you coming, and they say, "All right, you're going to come here."
I asked them. I applied. I definitely, and I mean, luckily I got hired. I applied I remember back home when I was in high school, I did not get hired at my favorite video store of all time, which still makes me bummed, but but that's all right. I now have my own favorite video store that I own. So that's
and this place is really great. I mean, the atmosphere here is just absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, we try to be pretty nice and welcoming, So yeah.
Well, also being a retail store and with today's pandemic, I noticed that all your attention signs and everything all that sanitizing.
Yeah.
Obviously, besides the norm of what everyone's experiencing, how has this affected you outside of less people coming in, or are your customers still hardcore and they're still coming?
Yeah, well, so it's odd so I'm a nurse also, so I'm I work at.
Thank you for your service.
Certain, of course. Yeah, I work at Delco, and I often work the COVID floor. So I actually, since the pandemic started, I have not worked the counter myself, just because I feel like it would be somewhat irresponsible to do so. So I haven't. So I basically come in here at 2 a.m. to enter product and to order movies and to take care of whatever's going on. But in terms of the numbers, so we were closed for 3 months, from mid-March till mid-June, and when we opened back up, I mean I was really worried that nobody was gonna come back.
Sure.
But honestly, July and August were, I think, marginally better than the previous year.
Wow.
September has been slower, but September, parts of the fall can be iffy if the weather's too nice or whatever. And I mean, who knows? Who can tell what's going to happen with anything with the pandemic? But generally, people have been coming in. People have been good about wearing their masks in the store, which we definitely require. And they've been all right about we limit how many people are in at one time or another. Not that we ever had that huge a crowd in here at one time. Anyways, we used to do events. That's the one thing that's a real bummer is that we did. We love doing events. That's super fun. for us. And we just very shortly before everything closed up, we had a big Oscar party and everything here. That was just a blast, like, and like the place was packed with folks, and I'm look forward to a day when we can do those sorts of things once again. We used to do like an outdoor screening like once a month also. And
wow.
Outdoor screenings, I figured, you can do
Where
an outdoor
would
screening.
you have an outdoor screening?
So in the little alley right next to the shop there, we'd project right on the wall. It's a white painted wall, and so it was easy enough to project from there. Set up a bunch of folding chairs. We generally do them there. Sometimes we've had in-store also, like just projecting on the screen. But we wanted to do some outdoor ones. I've been too hesitant to do one yet, just because I didn't want to put my staff in the position of like policing people, like masking and everything like that. And that, like, I feel like it could definitely be run properly, but it would just within the confines of the store, it's easy enough to sort of keep reasonable like rules and stuff and regulations going. If it's not actually in the store, it's going to get harder. So.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say, like, you don't want to be the ones like policing and making sure everyone is doing the right thing, and that's not what you're here to do. You're here to provide great service and have a great business for people to come to, and I think that for now it works.
Definitely. I'd feel terrible if it came to pass that like something we did caused any sort of outbreak.
I can understand that.
But at some point we'll be able to do them again, and
it'll be coming soon. That'll be the silver lining in all this, I think. Get to do events in person.
It'll be fun. It'll be great.
That sounds great. I mean, we're big on events. I think
totally.
That's why
it's super fun. We've done a lot of really great stuff. We did like an all-night VHS sleepover once, which was like for our 2-year anniversary, which is pretty great. We've done, I don't know, like I usually show strange. I showed that movie Ego is one that I showed out there. That was people were pretty thrilled about it. Got some people were standing and clapping at the intermission. But yeah, usually like I like to like the world is vast and interesting, and there's no reason to limit yourself to just the Avengers movies or something. And so my goal is to really give a platform to things that I at least find more interesting.
Changing the world one movie at a time.
Exactly. Or like opening one's mind to see something else. I totally get that.
I get that.
When you started your business, have you received any advice as to what you should do starting a business?
Most advice was like, what are you doing? Don't open a video store. I guess I don't. Have I received? I mean, I'm sure I have. You get I definitely. You should do this. Like, I mean, constantly. So I guess it's sort of like a ocean waves of advice and recommendations. I don't know. I didn't really have like a business mentor or anything like that. So I don't know that I got like real like serious advice.
So it was more of your gut when you did
more my gut. Well, I'd worked at the TLA since 1999. They closed in 2012. So I'd worked there quite a long time. And by the time that they closed, I was their buyer. So I was like selecting the movies, and I'd managed the store. My wife also managed the store. So like I kind of had done all the things that one does in
so you
running
kind of
that business.
Picked it up over time.
Yeah. So I mean, like I guess sort of learning on the scene.
And how does it feel to like actually see this come to fruition over the years?
It's great. I mean, I love that we're still here. I don't think anybody really thought we'd be here. Like we're 8 years. Wow.
That's awesome.
Today's we're doing this on the 5th. So I think on the 12th, I think is our anniversary.
Wow.
So yeah, thank you. So pretty excited. So.
It does say a lot considering.
Yeah.
So 8 years is a long time. We've lasted through a pandemic at this point. So that's something. And I mean, it's only because like the folks that like us really.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that people don't have to come to us to watch a movie. I do think. I mean, there are certain movies that they kind of do have to come to us to watch because they're not going to find them elsewhere. But I mean, if you want to watch a movie, you could certainly watch a movie without us. And so my appreciation for the folks that like the place as much as I do, and make sure to come in here and rent and talk us up to other people is, I'm very, very thankful, and humbled that people still come to me and stuff. Yeah, so I'm just sad that I can't help them myself at the counter these days.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hopefully that will change.
Yeah.
So after being here, going on 8 years, I should say, have you established any other particular favorite Ardmore businesses that you? Obviously besides yourself.
Sure. I mean, like there's a few. I mean, I like to eat, so
Ardmore's great for that.
Food. So I'd probably like if it was one, it would probably be El Limon. I was thrilled when we got like a good like Mexican food, like tacos and stuff. Like, I mean, I could not have been happier because I feel like in the area there's so much like good food, and for whatever reason there wasn't any Mexican or Tex-Mex or Latin food. There's still like really not much Latin food, to tell you the truth. Like, I get pretty bummed out that there's not like any like good Peruvian places.
Sure,
or anything like that. Especially because we've got so much like good, like we got great Thai, we got like great like Indian food right nearby. So it's strange like that there wasn't Vietnamese now. Yeah, and they're like the other, is it Vietnamese, the one? I can't remember their name. I'm mixing up with the one in the city, Bang Bang or something.
No, you're thinking of Bam Bam.
Bam Bam, that's what it is. Yeah, which is like super tasty. They're Vietnamese, right? Or are they Korean?
They're Korean.
Korean, yeah.
I'm talking about
the pho place is Vietnamese, yeah. But I mean, there's so much cool stuff. But so in any case, I'm like, I'll go eat ever. And then we're right next door to Tony with Felicia's pizza, which is like my son's favorite pizza in the world.
Really? I gotta say,
it's such good pizza.
I was here probably good 13 years, or no, 12 years before I even discovered they were there.
Well, I know they're so tucked back there.
And when I found them, I was like, I'm not going anywhere else.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, Tony's too ornery to like do any sort of advertising or anything. So like, it's really only, you got to just sort of happen upon them. But like their pizza's unreal. It's so good. So yeah. So I mean, I love that. I don't know, those are probably my favorites.
I'm very thankful you said El Limon, because I think I've been saying that for months now. And
I mean, totally, they're great.
You're the first person that said it.
Oh, really? I'm so surprised. Right? Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah, he keeps saying El Limon, and everyone says, "Oh yeah, sure."
Oh man, no, I mean they're definitely like, I mean, absolutely like they're my fave. Totally, yeah, definitely. They're so good.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they were and when I heard they were, I was just like thrilled, like just yeah, totally.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good. I'm glad I'm repping for one that you dig too. So definitely.
Do you have any advice for anybody who's just going to start up, not a video store, obviously, because you're the last one, okay? But do you have any advice for somebody who's an entrepreneur like yourself who's just going to open up their own business? Do you have any advice you'd like to give somebody?
It depends what your goal is. Like, I mean, if your goal is to be a businessman and to be an entrepreneur, I'd probably say choose something that you don't have feelings about. Like I feel like honestly, but if your goal is to, I don't know, like have like more meaningful fulfillment or something, or like then I'd say do the opposite and expect that you won't be able to make the decisions that are best for making more money. So which I guess maybe speaks to why I'm also a nurse in addition to running a business or whatever.
Sure.
But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm the best one to give advice on that subject.
So what you're saying is follow your passion if you don't care for the money, and if you do, go start Netflix.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Well, I mean, or not even, or whatever. Just find out. I feel like there's definitely like two different approaches to it, and I'm a businessman by necessity. I don't particularly like it. I don't think it plays necessarily to my strengths, but I don't know. I guess that's probably not the answer you usually get to that, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's totally fair. It's in line. I think before we wrap things up, we're going to roll a red carpet out for you. So anything that you want to talk about? Actually, there's literally a red carpet right there.
Oh man, it looks like that. It's actually painted. It's a tile. It's tile that just happens to. It looks totally like.
So we're gonna roll a red tile out for you, and just whatever you want to say.
Especially if you have anything going on with Halloween. Like if you have anything you want to say.
Oh man, well I'd say so we've got we do the social media stuff on Instagram. I think we're doing a horror recommendation a day of obscure stuff. So that'll be fun stuff to keep up with if you want to find some good like Halloween stuff to watch.
Awesome.